now, I don't know anything that happened this week. I just don't remember it because there wasn't much to remember.
None of us remember anything that happened this last week.
Well, I remember hearing somewhere or reading somewhere that the only mint, well, the Swiss mints are back up to 25% capacity, but they're backlogged like crazy.
Yeah.
So right now, somebody from London sent some 400-ounce bars to, you guessed it, the Perth Mint in
The Perth Mint.
Australia. Yeah, 7 tons of it, and they're converting it from 400-ounce bars to kilobars. So, 3 kilobars would satisfy a COMEX 100-ounce contract.
Okay.
And they're going to be sending it to, you guessed it, New York City.
Understood.
They're going to fly gold 11,000 miles from Perth to Sydney. So.
Hey.
Hey, it's Craig. Hey,
Craig.
We're live streaming, Craig.
Hey. So I'm up to the last level of Legend of Zelda Four Swords. If you guys want to see it, I figured I'd throw it up there.
Okay,
we just
gotcha.
got out of the tower and we're on the last boss, so.
Okay, understood. Hey, just so you know, though, we're live streaming right now.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So that's okay. Hey, and it's Jimmy D. Hey there, Jimmy D. Doing okay tonight?
Oh.
And we have Resin Nunn is with us. So hi to both of you guys. Yeah, we don't have any particular topics tonight. Ellie should be dropping in at some point. It's going to be it's not going to be a 2 or 3 hour long podcast tonight, though, because I do have to get up early in the morning to go to work.
Oh, and I would listen to Andy Scheckman. He had a video on last night.
Okay.
He's got 1,000-ounce bars for sale.
Oh, Resin's asking for a update real quick on SB 588. Okay, Resin, here's the deal. I've been talking to Ron Calzone, and tomorrow I'm going to talk to Jared Taylor and see if they're going to continue with this or if they even have the time to do it, because they've lost 6 weeks at the Capitol. Because the Capitol's been shut down, no legislation has passed this year. And basically we want to see if we feel that we have the political will to get this done along with the budget, because believe it or not, we have less than 3 weeks until the end of the legislative season. So honest, I'll just be straight up with you, Resin. It just doesn't look good right now, just because of the lack of time, which is really a shame because we had incredible momentum. Even though there were a few setbacks, there were backup plans for those setbacks. A man will need to have the will. I agree with you. But once again, if for instance, if Jared Taylor comes back and says, I don't think we can get this done in the amount of time that we have, that may be the end of the bill for this year. We'll have to see. But I'll tell you what, though, I'll give you guys an update. I have to work tomorrow, but by tomorrow night, I should be able to post a video with an update on the Second Amendment Preservation Act as far as the state of Missouri is going. And I should be able to talk to Eric tomorrow, too. So between the two of them, I should be able to get a good feel whether or not they're going to push forward with this, or if they literally just, they're not allowed the floor time to even get it done. So it really comes down to that, because right now, oh, no problem, Resin. And let me tell you what it is. And it's not because they don't want to do it. It's because by law, every year, they have to do at least one thing, which is pass a budget. And they haven't even done that. So that's going to take the majority of the floor time in the Missouri House, I believe, and in the Senate, is literally doing that. So they will go as forward as they can with it. But once again, if it literally is just getting the budget done and opening the state back up, and that's all they can do, then that's all they can do. And I won't fault anyone for this. Everyone's going through this. Every capital got shut down during this stupid coronavirus thing. But it did take away a lot of momentum, that's for sure. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. And there were 2 politicians that I'm going to call out when the time is right. that tried to slow the process down, but we got past them. But I'm certainly going to call them out, though.
Yeah, so it worked perfectly. Seamless plan, to take away everybody's liberties and have them give up on all their other pursuits and, cover everything up and distract everybody and,
Yeah, and that's a good point,
stupid
Craig.
scandemic.
That's a good point, and I'm going to explain
Yeah.
to the audience
Also,
why.
that new 9/11 report came out on Building 7 at the same time. Of course, nobody's gonna, of course, the news cycle is not gonna cover that.
Right.
Um, you know, just about fear and making you afraid and taking away your freedoms because that's all government wants to do. So, I guess they're gonna get them all. Nothing you could do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Resin says, I still have to go to work every day. They should too. I couldn't agree with you more. We had the effort of the grassroots effort was just enormous this year for this bill.
Oh, they were at work. They were all working in their bunkers.
Yeah, they were all back home in their districts, not working, not doing anything. But Craig has a good point though too, because let me say this, gang. This is interesting. There were protests all over the world for a year. Think Hong Kong, think Europe, think France, think Yellow Jackets, whatever. And then on top of that, we had this massive 10th Amendment movement going on in the United States of America. Massive. I mean, there's states.
Yeah, so now they can mandate the end of the freedom to assemble, the restriction of movement, and of course, all their other agendas they're going to advance with the crisis they're not going to let go to waste.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
just disperse all the crowds and virus infection.
Yeah, Resin, I appreciate it. I worked real hard to. Jimmy D is in here with us. He was working very hard on it as well. In fact, Jimmy D, take a look at this, man. I'm wearing your shirt. We all were working hard on it. We all wanted this to go through. And it's heartbreaking that it got stopped the way it did. And it wasn't because of any one politician. It was the shutdown of the government. People are protesting anyway, and that's R563. Hello to R563, and welcome on the chat today. Welcome on the live stream. And let's see, over here in Discord, we've got Coffee listening in. We got Wanderer listening in. Mike from Maine is, of course, talking. You guys are hearing Chaos Craig talk from time to time as well. GFI is listening in, and Joe's listening in.
No, I'm not talking. You're not getting anything out of me.
Yeah, Mike from Maine, of course, is the server owner and a real pleasant guy to chat with. And by the way, I want to apologize about the last time we did a live stream. I was trying to figure it out. I still don't have it figured out clearly. You guys are seeing like a million of me, a million windows. And that's just because I lack the time to even get ready for the presentation, not presentation, but the live stream tonight. Go ahead.
Can actually see the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at the YouTube.
Yep. Yeah. So, but at any rate, I want to say thank you to everyone who's in the chat right now that actually cared enough to make a few phone calls. To call up Missouri legislatures, to actually let them know, how much you wanted this. And believe it or not, this was the most popular bill that I think has ever hit the state of Missouri, ever, without exception. More activity on phone calls, more activity on emails, more activity on, people just going up to the Capitol and talking to them. And let's not even bring in the fact that they had like 87 co-sponsors on the HB 1637, which was the Missouri Preservation Act in the House. They've never seen it, ever. So that was exciting.
And then the Attorney General's busy, too. I mean, she was the first in the country to sue China.
Of course. Missouri has to be the first state to actually sue China. That's right.
Well, she's not suing China. She's suing the Chinese Communist Party, CCP.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So she's, busy suing China, while basically Americans are, basically in a very bad way right now. And that's how we're going. Hey, Tribulation Prepper is here. Hey there, buddy. So that's the way we're going to deal with this, with the collapse of the American economy, is make this feel-good effort to make everyone think they're doing something, which is trying to sue a sovereign nation. and which, by the way, is something that will never happen. It's just not going to happen. It's
Well,
silly.
they're suing the party, not the nation. But Mississippi filed their own suit Friday too. So, but they're suing China.
Yeah, we'll see how far that gets.
Yep.
Yep. So, but at any rate, that's where everything's at with the Missouri thing. But I will have some more information tomorrow. I just need to talk to Eric and Jared. Um, I've pretty much, I've talked to Ron quite a few times, and Ron is at a loss too to understand where everything's at right now. But once again, it was all because of the shutdown. It wasn't because of any politician, necessarily any politicians holding up the entire process. There were some that were slowing it down. And when the time is right, I'll make videos about both of those guys. They didn't stop us, though. They did manage to slow it down a little bit. Like, for instance, um, getting it into on the floor in the House. I'm sorry, getting it assigned to committee is what I meant to say. Just getting it assigned to committee actually took. It just we had 80. We had enough co-sponsors to actually pass the bill before they even assigned the bill to in a committee. It's incredible what happened. So there's one guy who slowed it down, but the fact is, with all the co-sponsors it had, it sped through the rest of the processes very quickly. So we kind of made up for it on the back end. But guys, I'll make a video about that, and so we'll keep everyone updated. Because actually, the first official day back to work for the Missouri Congress is tomorrow. So we should be able to talk to them about this and see if they're going to do anything beyond just reopening the state and then getting a budget done. So, and by the way, in the news, of course, we have China and Japan now reporting that little Kim is dead, or basically brain dead. Let's say brain dead. Um, so that's what's
Yeah,
going on in North Korea. Little Kim is brain dead.
yeah. The cardiologist that did the oh, what do you call that again? I mean, I've had it done 3 times.
Stint or something.
When they put it, yeah, when they put a catheterization, they put the stent in. The problem is that the North Korean doctor that had done this procedure hundreds of times had never cut into a fat person before, so he had trouble finding the artery, and he might have nicked it a little too much, as he was like trying to cut through the fat, and yeah, so he could have bled out, massive blood loss, brain damage. They kept him alive by pumping more blood, and closing the artery finally, but
Yep.
that's probably what happened.
Yep. Well, that's little Kim, so apparently his sister's gonna, assume power.
Or
Hopefully,
that's just a cover story for him getting, COVID-19, because it always seems to seek out the leaders. Just ask Boris Johnson.
yeah,
Bunch of other leaders.
Jimmy D said he heard on the MSN or mainstream media that he was okay. Um, so, yeah,
That he was what?
that he's okay. He's fine.
Oh,
And actually, it's because these rumors keep persisting, and little Kim has not presented himself, that we have to
hmm
believe that these rumors must be true.
well, by now, the rumors have been floating long enough. I mean, usually he would have come out and shot a couple missiles or made an appearance or something.
Or he could be in
You
his
know,
bunker, for COVID-19 or something, or
mm.
yeah,
Or he
maybe,
could have come out and called Trump an old dotard again.
yeah, yep, yeah. There's a lot of
But
things
he,
that lies. You're right. Could have been lies, Resin. So he could have gone to a Tupperware party that went awry, and
yeah. Yeah, maybe he went to, Saddam isn't alive. I mean, Saddam had famous dinner parties where the
hmm
guests were slaughtered,
hmm yeah,
and the others were too scared to talk afterward.
yep. But just think of it though. If they chop him up finely enough, they can seal him in fresh for all eternity by burping the corners of the Tupperware. Okay,
Yeah, it could be
I'm
with
sorry, gang. I shouldn't have gone there.
Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe they'll put him in the same place Jimmy Hoffa is.
Let's see if YouTube shuts me down again. I'll show my cigarettes that I'm smoking. They're strawberry cigarettes. And I like them. I like them. Okay, so we have oil. LOL, you sick, brother. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have said that. But I'm just thinking, if
Yeah,
they did
oil's
burp the corners, I mean, he could stay fresh for a long time, Jimmy D, is all I'm saying. Tupperware, people don't get Tupperware anymore because they're too busy buying Ziploc bags. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I blame Dom DeLuise. Really, I do. I think he's the one who started the Ziploc, revolution in America.
Craze. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, and oil's down like 5%
Oh.
tonight on the futures.
yes, thank you, Mike. I just wanted to mention. Resin uses glass. Well, glass works well too. As long as you have that tight-fitting Tupperware seal. Oh, let's see. Kim Jong-un, the bad haircut did it. And that's true, too, because actually what may have happened, as opposed to a Tupperware party gone awry, is that they actually may have landed a B-52 on his head by accident. Yep.
Maybe a missile blew up on the launch pad or
Yep.
something.
Could be. Hey there, American man. Welcome to the live stream.
Live stream? What are we live streaming?
We're just live streaming our Discord chat right now.
Oh, cool.
Yep, like we did last week.
I just put some.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I put some pictures in the chat of my punching bag stand. I finally got it done. It only took me a year.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Do you mind if I show the world your punching bag stand?
I have no problem with that.
Okay, gotcha.
Only cost me $67 to make.
Okay, there we go, gang. We'll start up here. Let's see. It looks like you've made use of a tire and possibly some cement. Looks like a 4x4.
Yep.
And looks like some kind of metal corner pieces.
Yeah, that's the hardware. The braces I used to shore it up to ensure it would be structurally sound, and that pole on the other end obviously is there to hold it while the cement is drying overnight. Of course, I did use Quikrete, but I got to make sure,
Okay, and also I'm seeing a chair with a hairdryer on it. And
yeah, I was.
Oh no, not a chair with a hairdryer
Yep.
on it.
It is. You know what? You can play hangman with your punching bag stand, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just got to put some stable, I don't even know what you would call them, some more wood on there to stabilize it, and then, the back and the sides, just to make sure. Because the punching bag's 6 feet long and it weighs over 100 pounds, so I need to make sure it's going to be strong.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that's for the punching bag.
Yeah.
I thought that was so you could hang yourself upside down for like traction or something.
No, I got a inversion table for that.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know something.
Huh.
Let's see. All I was going to say is it is possible to probably conceal the remains of a former North Korean leader in a punching bag like that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that that's what's happened, gang. I'm just asking questions. That's what I do. So
Those are just rumors.
it's just I'm just literally talking about the rumors I heard about.
Yeah.
Oh, there's certainly enough of them.
Mm. So
Some are saying he's just hiding out on the coast, because of the virus.
Right?
Jimmy says, no bad words, American man, LOL.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so
Yeah, we're streaming.
yeah, we're streaming.
All righty.
Yeah, family friendly. This is the kind of live stream that you'd be very happy for your kids to be watching with you. Apart from all the talk I've had
Exactly.
about slicing up little Kim and putting him in Tupperware and burping the corner. So
That's pretty good.
yeah. Oh, TC is on little Kim. Oh, hang on. Tribulation prepper. 100 pounds times 4 feet means it's going to fall over. So Tribulation prepper is offering up some mathematics here for how you set up your hangman thing.
Okay,
Um,
what was that?
Tribulation prepper says 100 pounds times 4 feet means it's going to fall over.
Which way? Because I'm not an engineer.
Okay, probably the opposite way.
Towards the bag.
Yeah, towards the back when you're punching it.
Oh, I get what he means now. Yeah, no, that's why I'm gonna add more weight to the tire itself.
Ah,
So,
you got to pour more
Do you think
concrete
that-
in there.
hey, yeah, is Craig's an engineer, right? I
He
should've
is
got
indeed.
his advice from him before I even built this stupid thing.
Hmm. Yep.
Craig, are you listening in by any chance? Any advice? Any pointers?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. What are you trying to do?
Okay, if you look in the chat, you'll see my attempt at building a homemade ghetto-style punching bag stand because I can't afford to buy a real one.
Okay.
The punching bag weighs approximately 100. Well, it's going to weigh 125 pounds when I'm done with it.
All right.
It's 6 feet tall. The stand you see is 7 feet and 3.5 inches tall. I just need the bag a few inches off the ground so it'll move.
Yeah.
I
So
do.
why'd you go with that tire thing? What's that about?
I have no idea. It's just something that popped in my head.
Is that concrete?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I guess it's still tipping over, right?
No, it's not tipping over. I haven't even used it. It's just drying right now. It's curing.
Okay. Well, that's not exactly maybe not what I've done, but I guess it's worth a try. But yeah, I mean, how important is it for you to be able to walk under this thing?
To walk underneath it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, just like you have that joist and that gusset up at the top, you could do the same thing at the bottom, right?
Yeah, then you'd have
Right.
to, have a leg or something sticking out from the bottom that, would. Yeah,
Right.
so I see what you're saying now, Craig.
Yeah. So obviously, that would add an obstruction that would prevent you from walking underneath it, and so I just don't know. I guess what the functional requirements of this thing are. Would that affect them?
I mean, I'm just dumb, but I'm still not picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So you know how you built the top thing, right?
Yeah, it's got brace on it. Yes, to ensure
Yeah, yeah.
it's not going to break.
Yeah. What
got-
if you just made the whole thing like that at the bottom too? You know,
Well, how am I
Right,
going
like
to put
like a
It's-
big U. You know,
you?
like a sideways U. You know.
Are you saying I need to put another 4x4 on the other side where the pole is? Are you looking at the picture?
Yeah, I'm saying at the floor.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why he was
underneath
asking
the-
if you needed to walk under this thing, because clearly you would have to
Well,
walk over a 4x4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Now, Tribulation Prepper is saying just whack about 3/4 of the lateral member off the stand.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna bring it into 3 feet.
It depends on that too. The bottom member could be shorter than the top member, but you might
Yeah.
want it to be like 2/3 of the length of the top one. And
Yeah, no, that,
you
That right
can't
there-
do it now with the tire on there, so I guess you see if
Yeah,
that
now
tire is
that I've
good
got
enough.
the
I
tire
somehow
on
doubt
there.
it though.
yeah,
I somehow doubt it. That thing that weighs 120 pounds, and how many feet out is it going to be? 3 feet?
the punching bag weighs
Yeah.
125 pounds when I'm done with it.
Yeah. And what do you want that to be out? Like 3 feet?
Yeah,
And what's the radius of that tire? Like 1.5 feet?
The radius, the full radius from outside to outside or inside to inside?
Yeah, from the outside to the center of the post.
Oh, that's about, I don't know. I didn't bother to look.
Was it like a 22-inch tire or something? What is
Oh,
it?
that's
What's
a truck tire, actually. It's a
Truck?
heavy-duty, large truck tire. Yeah, I think it's like
Okay.
a 15 or 16-inch tire.
rim? Yeah, what's the outside diameter of that? 30 inches or?
I think it's 30. It's either 30. I don't. It's 30. A little over 30 inches. Yeah, maybe an inch or maybe 31, 32.
All right.
Somewhere around there.
And you're gonna cut that top member down?
Yeah, I was going to cut it down to like 3 feet where I'm going to
Okay.
be putting the bag.
You could probably just leave it long and just mount the bag where you're gonna mount it, you know.
Yeah, that's a idea too.
And then you have the option of moving it further out, and you could see how far out you can get it before the thing tips over.
Yeah, well, I was gonna put some braces on the side, like you see where the metal is,
Yeah.
and then one in the back behind that. I didn't stop to think about it tipping forward, but I can throw a weight on the back of the tire to stop it from doing that.
Well, I don't know. I guess just try it without any extra bracing when the concrete dries and see what it
Yeah.
does. You know.
Okay.
Since you already came this far, so. might
Yeah,
as
I
well
should
just-
have had you draw.
Might as well just see what it does, you know, before you make any other changes.
Well,
What
if it doesn't work, you think you can help me out with some schematics?
Yeah, sure.
I would appreciate it. Thank you.
So
I didn't
anyway, I
even-
wanted to go back to what Timmy was saying earlier about these leaders getting the virus and stuff. Did you guys catch the 2012 Olympics thing?
Intro. Yeah, it was like an intro
Intro?
to the Olympics. And
Yeah,
it was,
did you see that
I
Boris
sure
Johnson looking guy getting out of the bed looking sick?
yeah,
So yeah, we gotta wonder if was that supposed to be Boris Johnson? Is that
I have no
you know,
idea.
coincidence? Is it predictive programming? And you know, I think the reason all these leaders are getting the virus is because these leaders are in on the psychological operation. You know, And so maybe the leaders are getting the thing in a disproportionate.
Let
you
me
know,
see if I
amount-
can show it real quick. Oh, shoot.
If
This
the
opening
virus is even real.
Yeah, this opening is literally like 4 hours long. See if I can find it real quickly. I mean, quickly and
Yeah,
easily.
you gotta skip through if you could find.
Yeah.
I know it was in the beginning of a Jeff Berwick video. He has only the relevant clips. If
Yeah.
you want to pull that one up instead, that could be an option.
Hey, there's the queen.
All right. All right, Coffee, you're right. She's
So-
punking us.
She's what?
Virus this, virus that. Oh my God, it's gonna go on as long as RussiaGate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying to push.
Every single sniffle, we're gonna all have to go on lockdown with bags over our faces forever and ever.
Yeah,
Forever and
wearing
ever.
plastic
Every
trash
single
bags.
little thing that happens from now
Yeah,
on.
but is
Yeah.
there enough coronavirus for everybody?
Yeah, did you bring some for everybody?
I know.
I'm still
So-
looking for that
So they
Think-
did that test recently, where it showed that like 20% of everyone in New York has the virus, you know, has antibodies to the virus. So that's at first assuming the test even works. But assuming the test works and the numbers are accurate, that means that 20% of everyone has it, and that means the death rate's really, really, really low, and that the pathogen is passing through the population, and the herd is generating herd immunity. And so and that means that the majority of cases are asymptomatic, and most cases probably fail to produce symptoms that are even noticeable, or just so mild they can't even tell. So I don't know. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But the idea is to keep this going forever and ever, and decades, and take away all your freedoms. So it's never going to end, and that's that. all right?
it's because
So-
we ran out of terrorism. And we have a new boogeyman
Yeah, we
now.
need a new invisible enemy that we
Yep.
can't even see.
Yeah, and of course it
Yeah.
only looks threatening if you look at it at a microscope at 2,000 times magnification.
Yeah.
You look at a human hair at 2,000 magnification, it would scare the piss out of you too. All right, I'm going to give up on trying to find that opening thing. I do want to point out that oil is down 8.85% as of the time of this live stream.
Oh my.
And by the way, it is April 26th today, I believe, and it's Sunday. Didn't say that at the beginning of the video, in the live stream. Okay, now I'm back. So let's see. Let's see. TC, I hear a rat on your keys. Oh yeah, that was me typing. Sorry about that, buddy. Let's see.
Just PC tickling the ivories.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, Resin left. All right. Sorry I missed Resin here. Let's see. The easiest deal would be just to hang a bag from the ceiling. And that was for American Man. And let's see. And then Jimmy D says, TP makes a hell of a lot of noise when hit. Ask me how I know. LOL. Okay. Maybe shock mounted. All that vibration transfers from the floor. Okay, Jimmy D. I'll bite. How do you know? All right, gotcha. All right, so so coronavirus. So it's all about the virus, isn't it, folks? And
Yeah, it's about the virus.
Yep. And the virus is basically, shut down the entire world, and we now have an excuse for the economic collapse that we were all expecting anyway. But
Right.
more importantly, what?
Yeah, this virus is taking all my credit.
Yep. And
Terrible. Terrible.
the more, no, it is bad, and Chaos has been wanting chaos for a long time now, and it's finally happening. But as
And
Chaos
more
Craig
tire
is,
fires.
yeah, that's right. Chaos Craig is famous for saying in our chat, it's real when the people are doing tire fires, setting tires
Yeah.
on fire. That's when people are pissed. So,
Yeah.
But what's happening though is the draconian, tyrannical legislation. That's what we should be paying attention to, not the virus, but the legislation. So we'll keep a good eye on that. They had some tyrannical legislation in. Let's see. There's so many iterations of these bailout bills they've gone through now, and most of them have been rejected out of hand. But one of them did have 2 red flag laws in it. Thankfully, that was shut down.
Well, they might pass some more bailout bills for the states if they go bankrupt.
Yeah.
They were talking about that this morning. Mnuchin came on camera, stiff as a board as ever.
Yep.
And he would shut his mouth and keep it tight because it's like he was afraid to spill beans or something. I don't know.
He's got a quarter iron stuck up his ass. That's
Well, he doesn't want to get fired by Trump. I mean, he'll lose his trophy wife if he does, So.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, he'll just go back to Goldman Sachs.
A Bojo is going back to work tomorrow, gang. By the way, Boris Johnson in England. So we'll be able to see him again, and hopefully we'll get some humor out of it, because that's what we're getting out of Trump all the time now. By the way, let's all talk about Trump. Actually recommending people inject themselves with Clorox. And then also
What?
and then subjecting themselves to UV light both externally and internally to fight the virus.
Oh my God, these people are stupid.
Yeah. So
Well, Trump was just thinking out loud.
yeah, he was just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
So that's what we got out of Trump here this past week.
Yep.
Let's see, virus. Deadly Wound is saying it's a virus scam. I've seen 4 doctors rip up the hype with data from 9 large clinics. Yeah, it's yeah. it's certainly, if this thing is real, and I'm not going to comment on it one way or the other, but if it is real, it certainly isn't having the kind of impact that they expected. So,
No, that's just it. They got caught with their pants down lying about it and making it worse than what it was to scare the dickens out of everybody. So when they roll out with said virus, everybody will take it.
oh, Prepper's saying he prefers to snort Lysol. And Prepper, I was going to let you know that I've gone from recently freebasing Clearasil to Lysol. So I'm with you on that one, buddy. Hey, Craig, we're getting an awful lot of noise out of your mic.
Sorry, I fixed it.
Okay, thank you.
You're going robotic, TC.
I am in the chat, but I am not on YouTube.
Oh.
So we have found this out from live streaming last time, that it's only on Discord. So,
Okay.
sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about that. I've got plenty of
Oh,
bandwidth.
no. Okay. I wasn't aware.
Yeah, if you want better sound quality with a 3-second delay, listen to the YouTube and
Yep.
mute the Discord.
Yep, as we're all still kind of learning, how this thing goes.
Hey, who do you think you're talking to, huh? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an American. He's
Yeah,
American.
American man.
That's right.
American man.
He's got rights.
Right.
So basically, what we got from Trump was something that he said, obviously, when he was tired, or because quite frankly, he's smarter than that. I'm not sticking up for the guy, but clearly that is going to follow him around like an albatross around his neck, literally through the entire campaign. There's stories. Yeah, Trump.
Trumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Trumpster.
Yeah.
The Trump-o-matic. The Trumpinator.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Trumpinator. Yeah.
Obama Trump?
Yeah.
Obama Trump.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the June contract for oil. It didn't have that crazy, it didn't hit -40 or anything like that. I'm getting continued bullish divergence as I'm charting it. So, I don't know. Does it have more downside? Doesn't mean the divergence can't continue as the price goes lower, but, I'd say that the bottom is in, it looks like to me.
Well,
Yeah, but
Dare I say?
the storage is all gone.
yeah.
There is no more storage.
Yep.
That's what I keep telling my stomach as I shove more food in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only storage left, basically, is the United States Strategic Reserve, and Trump said they can squeeze another 75 million barrels in there.
I'm charting the June contract, and the lowest it reached was $6.50. And I'm looking at very, very, very historically oversold conditions. It's hard to see it going much lower.
No, it's not normal conditions. I mean, the reason why the contracts went into negative was because there was no place to put the oil.
Yeah. So it's like garbage. You got to pay someone to take it off your hands.
Yeah, and there's no cash settlement on these contracts. You have to take the delivery.
How do I get these negative cost barrels of oil delivered to my house?
Yeah, that's the tough part. You have to have storage for it, Craig.
Yeah.
Can I just put the barrels in my backyard and line them up? Or
I don't think they're offering barrels. I wish they did. By the
Well,
way,
that's
Joe's
probably-
writing something good here. Everything will open up this month. Oil will be used. Therefore, the price of oil should go up. And that's correct. We'll see if everything opens up this month. I know Missouri is opening up. And when you say this
stays
month,
open.
we're talking about May, I think. But the Missouri courts open on May 15th. That's kind of an official date that everything kind of starts to reopen in
Well,
Missouri.
the Missouri courts increase the demand for diesel.
I hope so because, well, actually, you know what? This is what bothers me. Gang, did you see conjecture put into the chat that
Yep.
a gasoline in Missouri is now down to 94 cents? But look at the
But
price
here in
of diesel.
California, it's $3 a barrel, or $3 a gallon, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate California.
Yeah.
They're giving this crap away, and they're still charging us $3 a gallon over here in Satonsville.
It's because you're living in a commie paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because all the price is taxes.
And
Yep.
And Coffee wrote in 100% TC legislation and cultural manipulation to accept it. And that's what we're talking about, the legislation that's coming through
Right.
during this coronavirus. And
Coronavirus.
yep, the beer virus, the beer flu.
Yep.
So,
If Bruce Lee was still alive, I think he could have kicked its behind.
yeah. Yep. So, we do what we can at this point, but gang, I don't go out with a mask. I'm forced to wear a mask at certain customer sites, but that's it.
Yeah.
There's no, you can't leave your house without a mask kind of thing going on in Missouri. And by the way, the lockdown is extremely light in Missouri. In fact, it's not even worth calling a lockdown here. It's just, you know, uh, I would say probably just kind of guidelines. That's it.
Yeah,
Well,
same thing here in Colorado. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
we travel. I'm
Today-
sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Today, 25 bikers had their parade, their usual Sunday parade down Main Street here. The motorcycle club, not the motorcycle gang, but just guys with day jobs that got nice, clean, sparkling Harleys. And
hmm
they just go on the ride every Sunday. And they go through town collecting more bikes as they go along. And it was like a normal Sunday, and every Sunday's been like this.
hmm
It's not a real lockdown.
Yep.
Well, here in California, if you guys are interested, me and American women don't wear our masks unless we go into a corporate store, corporately owned store, because they insist. So, and she has to wear her at work because she works in a preschool. So,
Yeah, Wanderer mentioned something. The barrels are $25 each. Yeah, so when they were giving you selling you the oil contract and paying you $38, you had to go out and buy your own steel drums to put the oil in it. So they were paying for it.
yeah.
Still worth it.
Yeah, it's, I wish I could buy some physical
Come ahead
oil.
with
hmm
a little profit.
Negative 40 plus 25 is still negative
Whoa,
15.
whoa, wait a minute. Somebody just walked out.
I'm sorry.
Mike?
No, I'm talking to my grandson.
Oh.
Okay, gotcha.
And he let the dog in, the big dog.
Who let the dog in?
Yeah. Who? Come on, you want to go outside?
TZ, did you already start the live stream?
We did. It's going
Yes.
live right now, Conjecture. And welcome to the live stream,
Well-
Conjecture.
Go on.
This is a good idea.
Go
So,
lay down.
there's a couple of thoughts I had here I'd like to share, during the live stream. And one of them is the fact that, and in Conjecture can get into this probably in a lot more detail, is basically we expected this. I mean, and this is, and by the way, I want to say one thing before I even get started with the concepts here, is we expected at Truth, Money, and Freedom for this collapse to happen. We didn't know a date, we didn't know a time, but we knew it was coming. Chaos Craig has been talking about it for ages. So has Mike from Maine. So has Conjecture. So has Wanderer. We all knew this. Joe knew this was coming. And what we didn't know what was the black swan that was actually going to be the pin that pricked the bubbles. So that's what we didn't know, and apparently it
Do you
is
mind if
coronavirus.
I'm,
Go
We
ahead.
all knew
Conjecture.
there was going to be a black swan. We just didn't know what it was going to be.
Yep.
But we had signals that told us we were heading this way. We had the yield conversion,
yield-
the Fed reversing course, the repo market fallout. This all happened before, the coronavirus. We had negative
it was
all-
GDP numbers coming out of Germany and Japan for years.
Oh, yeah. It was
Um,
all in motion. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all in motion. The global slowdown was in motion. Now, my question is, were they cutting rates and, going to QE4 to keep things together long enough to make it to the election? Or were they
Yeah.
doing it to keep it together long enough to make it to the Black Swan?
Well, before the Cerveza thingy came around, They were doing it to, make it last till just after the elections, so Trump could
Right,
have
right.
another
That's
one.
what we thought. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
But were they doing it to make it last till the virus? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they had planned the virus as a false flag. You know that pandemic card has been in the Illuminati card game
Well,
deck for a long time,
if you
and
want, you could also say the oil. I mean,
Yeah.
the oil contango was still going on. I mean, they were using tankers as floating storage, and they've run out of tankers. And they were out of tankers about the same time the virus hit. So even if without the virus, it would have been oil. This oil war would still have been going on with Saudi and Russia and the shale oil producers, which is what that was all about. It was about putting the shale oil producers out of business.
Yep.
right. So they sensing that we were weak, they'd figure they smelt the blood in the water. They decided to kick us while we were down,
Yeah.
and that would be a perfect opportunity to try to bankrupt the shale producers finally. But we've known for a long time that shale oil drilling is not cost effective, and this is just an example of malinvestment.
Mhm.
The only reason it occurred is because of artificially low interest rates
Yeah.
enabled
Anybody?
people to invest money in lower yield producing assets. And just like you buy a lower interest rate bond, you buy a lower yield producing company or a lower yield producing drilling operation or a lower yield producing business model of any kind.
Hmm.
And that takes resources away from, other investments that probably should have been made instead. So now all these shale producers are going to go to business. The federal government's going to bail them all out, and the taxpayer is going to pay for it,
Yep.
Always.
as usual.
That's a good point. It's the fact that cheap, easy money always produces malinvestment. Always.
Hey, TC, may I make a point here? And if you know about this, I'm sure you do, you or Conjecture can probably elaborate on it. Remember back when George Bush did a large stimulus and what happened to that money, how it ended up in the hands of the Red Cross, and now Trump just diverted all that money from the WHO? And guess where he sent it to?
A Red
The
Cross.
Red Cross.
Yeah.
That's Bill and Melinda Gates, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. But I thought that would be a good issue, or good topic to discuss for a moment or two.
And
Yep.
then as far as the oil debacle, I mean, anybody who's been reading SRS Rocker Report for the past 5 years knew this was coming.
Yeah. So we
Although
all
we
knew it
didn't
was
have,
coming.
MBS.
Yeah, we all
Do
knew
you
it was
mind,
coming. And yes, that's time for Conjecture to speak for a second. Conjecture, go ahead.
So above, I posted a link to where I got the chart from, but you could click on the chart I had. We didn't have a recovery in 2008. If you look at that chart, it's just been money printing. That's what's
Yeah.
been taking the stock market higher. There isn't, a
Yeah.
booming economy like there currently
Yeah.
was in 2000.
Yeah,
It's all been money printing.
Yeah, the P multiple's just expanding. Earnings haven't improved. It's just a bunch of stock buybacks and money being
Yeah,
created from nothing
they're
through
just-
fractional reserve debt creation and then being used to pump stock prices.
yeah, they just papered over it. I mean, the economy had a sucking chest wound that's fatal to anybody, and they stuck a Band-Aid on it, and papered
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
And we've been limping along ever since. But look at the Dow. Look at the Dow.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the Dow, look at the doll. Here,
Yeah,
Bernie.
for 10 years we've heard the same
Bernie.
thing,
Here,
Heard the
Bernie.
same thing over and over again.
Well, the malinvestment continues. That is not getting cleared out of the system. They're trying to literally inflate these bubbles again with these bailouts. So the malinvestment remains, which is the problem in the first place. And most of the malinvestment is in the derivative markets. So any thoughts on that for Chaos Craig, Conjecture, or Mike?
Yeah, I mean, the derivatives markets are like, quadrillions of dollars at this point. So
Mhm.
that could easily blow up, and then they'll have to print out like maybe 10 times of the global GDP just to bail out these derivatives, and it's just a mess. But the the this time they have to print so much more just to yield less and less results each time. There's like diminishing returns on this this bailout thing, where it's like pushing on a string and you get like a lower yield each time you try it, and the bailout has to get bigger and bigger, and the stimulus spending has to get bigger and bigger, and the debt has to get bigger and bigger. And I think this is going to be the one where we overdose on stimulus. So
Well-
just because it works for the last 10 years doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work this time.
Right.
Mind if I throw another note in there?
Sure, go conjecture.
Well, with the derivatives market, they were able to bail it out the first time because the first time it was just the housing derivatives. That market was big, but it wasn't, an all-consuming mass. We've got gold and silver, which is about the size of the housing market, and then we have oil going at the same time.
Yep.
There's no way they can bail them all out.
Nope.
Not without
Not without completely
a
destroy.
substantial,
Go ahead.
not without a substantial increase in the money supply. If you look at John Williams' shadow stats, and let me explain this to the people who may not know. If you guys have been listening to Peter Schiff, he talks about all the magazines and newspapers he got from 2003, and then he got a near identical set in 2013. He compared the prices, and it said they were up 130%. But the Fed said in that time prices were only up 30%.
Yeah. Yep. So basically, and anyone who actually goes to the grocery store, buys gasoline, buys a house, buys a car, buys virtually
Pays for
anything.
school, healthcare,
Yeah, healthcare.
education,
Yep.
housing, healthcare, education.
Yep.
The
The 2%.
things you actually need.
Yep. The 2% inflation that the government has been touting forever is a lie. Even during the entire Obama administration, 2%. Oh, I remember, every time Janet Yellen got up and spoke, oh my gosh, we're trying so hard to keep inflation at 2%, and it's so hard. My gosh, we need it a little bit higher than 2%. Meanwhile, it's actually 10% the whole time. But the deal is, as long as they keep the lie alive and keep repeating it every time the Fed has a meeting that it's only 2%, the belief was that people would actually consume that information and subconsciously, go, it has to be, because the authority figures are telling me it's 2%. It's got to be, but it was a lie. It was 10%.
That's how they get the market to accept low interest rates.
Sure.
And
Sure.
and so that the government can maintain its debt that's increasing exponentially forever.
The companies could borrow money really cheaply and buy back their own
Own
stocks.
stocks. Yep. Correct.
And then
Mike.
all the shareholders can cash out, privatize all the gains, and then when the whole thing goes belly up, they'll just socialize all the losses again.
Yep.
Well, the interesting thing is that we're not actually having a 10% increase in the money supply every year. We're having about 6 to about 8%. The remainder of the inflation is the shrinking of the economy. There are fewer goods to buy with more money.
Okay, I want to say something here real quick. There's some things in the chat that I've been missing. Wanderer puts in breaking. The Bank of Canada will be buying 40% of all treasuries auctioned by the federal government, up from 25%, in effect directly creating money for the government, or monetizing the debt is what we call it here in the U.S. Money printers go full burr in Canada. So
but Canadian money, isn't Canadian money printed in Great Britain?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, Joe, that creates inflation.
No, they print their own money in Canada. I always thought it was printed in England.
Let's see. Coffee says this has been planned, in my opinion. Zika, Ebola, and I can't pronounce that word. Lockdowns and drills and propaganda to get here. Yep, that's true. Coffee. I agree. I remember the Ebola scare very, very well. And
Oh, and Wanderer also posted that the Bank of Japan is to double bond buying program and commit to buy unlimited amounts of government debt.
yep. And let's see. Also, a conjecture put up a chart of the S&P 500 index and total assets of the Fed, ECB, and Bank of Japan in dollars, and how closely aligned those actually are.
Well, they're all working
Well,
together.
You know,
I think it is. You take all those assets, you add them up, and you divide the number by 2, and that's the S&P.
the Royal Canadian Mint prints the money in Canada, apparently, Mike, or the
Yeah.
currency,
Yeah.
and print used toilet paper. Print with used toilet paper, no less.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it holds together better.
Yep, I suppose. Plus, it gives it that fresh scent, of freshly
Well,
printed crap
the
money.
$100 bills are brown,
Yep,
and the $100 bills are brown.
yep.
Well, they used to be.
And let's see. And let's see. Oh, yeah, Jimmy D is saying, hey, conjecture.
Hey, Jimmy D.
Yep. So, yeah, guys, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's literally the future for all of us is hyperinflation. It really doesn't matter what country you're in. Most of them are going to go through
Don't
this.
worry about it. We're dumping all the debt on our kids and grandkids and great grandkids. It's gonna be all right.
It's going to be just fine. It'll be fiend.
Yeah.
Well, the
Trust
thing
the
is,
plan. Yeah.
I don't think every country is going to go into hyperinflation. I think some of them will go into hyperinflation, and others will do what Switzerland did. They will start printing money and doing whatever they want, going their own way.
Yeah.
Switzerland has significantly less inflation than
Hang
us.
on. Are you starting a
And-
new movement, conjecture? Instead of men going their way, it'll be countries going their own way?
Well, I didn't mean to phrase it like that, but sure.
Okay, gotcha. All right, you guys heard it here first. Countries are going to go their own way. They need a logo and T-shirts. So there's an entrepreneur opportunity for somebody.
Well, I do have a theory for it, too.
Go ahead.
And that is, you know how we had all these nationalistic leaders elected?
Yep.
Well, I mean, it is kind of like the rise of a bit of nationalism. People are going to say, why are we doing what the Americans are doing? Let's just do our own thing. Let the Americans crash and burn. We don't have to follow them. We don't have to be dumb, like the Federal Reserve. They can choose to take the smart path, and they can go their own way, have less inflation, and have, happier people and a more prosperous economy. Probably way more prosperous when we're not there using our overvalued dollars to buy all of their goods away from their own people.
Yep.
Oh, and just breaking on Zero Hedge, Diamond Offshore files for bankruptcy. Once upon a time, it was the most admired offshore drilling company in the United States.
How could that possibly
And a
happen, Mike?
perennial,
Go ahead.
and it was a perennial LBO candidate due to its rock-solid cash flows. A little over a decade later, it's bankrupt,
And it's gone.
and it's gone. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How can that possibly happen, Mike? Why would oil companies be going bankrupt when, it's, oil's back to $15 now.
Are they running out of oil?
No, they're not running out of oil. They're running out of storage. Hey,
Yeah.
but you guys all heard it here first. If any of you have any extra oil you need to deposit anywhere, Craig has space in his yard for 55-gallon drums.
Negative. Yeah, so give me $40. I'll take your barrel of oil.
Hmm.
I'll fit as many as we can in the backyard. I could probably fit like a couple hundred barrels maybe,
Hmm.
and I'll just hang on to those and
Yep.
sell them later.
You're going to start stacking oil drums. That'll work. Yep. So we'll watch oil very carefully for the next 3 weeks. That's where it's critical, gang. So we're looking leading up to the expiration of June futures, which I believe is right around May 20th. If I think it's right around that date. So if we see oil dip negative again towards that date, we know that they're in real trouble. So they're already in real trouble. I mean, we're losing oil companies right and left, but we'll lose more, is all I'm saying.
Yep. Let's let them bleed out and then pick up the winners.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, there is another thing that could,
Uh,
the oil producers sell the oil at a positive future, and then it later is owned by a trader who then has to pay for somebody else to take it off their hand.
Hmm. But you know what this is really great for is gold mining.
Yeah,
Fuel is the number one expense for a
it
miner.
is.
Yeah.
Now, and this is really the perfect storm for the miners, the actual
Yep.
kind of event we've been forecasting all along, and why it's so great for specifically primary gold and silver miners, because base metal miners aren't going to do well in a depression. Low demand is going to bring base metals down, copper, nickel, zinc, for all the same reasons oil's going down. And if people aren't mining copper, they're not producing silver as a byproduct, which is where the majority of
Or gold.
silver is produced as a
'Cause
byproduct of other mining processes for base metals.
same
So
thing
now,
with gold. If you mine copper,
right,
you
yeah,
get gold out of it too.
yep, yep, gold is a byproduct too. I'm not sure exactly how it breaks down. Is gold primarily produced by secondary producers?
Yeah, it's a secondary metal to copper. I mean, copper.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but like I know silver, the vast majority of silver is produced as a secondary product, but for gold, is that the same case?
Well, yeah, with copper mines, yeah, you get gold as a
Yeah,
secondary
but
metal.
what I'm saying is that the majority of the current mining supply of silver is produced as a secondary
Yeah, and
comes from secondary producers.
zinc, copper, lead. Yeah.
Right. Is that also the case for gold?
Yeah, well, you got like primary gold mines, and then you got like
Yeah.
copper and zinc mines that produce a little bit of gold, and that's, something to just hold back until they just say, well, we could sell the gold today. Is that a good price?
Right. I'm just saying that I don't know if it's a majority of gold's produced by secondary or primary. I know silver, the majority is produced by
Yeah.
secondary, and we're going to take off all that secondary supply offline. At the same time, the price of precious metals go up, and costs go down because lower oil. So it's
Yeah,
really
and
the
then,
perfect storm for gold mining. Not any other type of miner, but specifically precious metals miners, right?
yeah, but a lot of them shut
Primary
down
producers
because
only.
of the virus. A lot of
Right.
them shut down because of the virus. So very little. There's some mining still going on.
Some mining is, but I don't not exactly sure what the shutdown situation is. I was told it wasn't that big of a deal, but you figure that a lot of these things are just going to trade on the expected value of the mineral deposit that they're sitting on,
Mhm.
right? And if you're sitting on all these minerals in the ground, and your mine is not able to produce anything at a profit, well, it is now. And what's the value of something that goes from worth nothing to something? That's like a percent increase of infinity. That's why you see some giant moves in these mining stocks,
Mm.
and a lot of the major highs. Newmont, I think, is the only stock in the S&P 500 at new highs. Not new all-time highs, but new highs. Over the last 5-6 years, 8 years or
Well,
so.
well, my son's betting on him. He bought some Barrick Friday.
Yeah, well, the majors are moving first. Yeah, I have a lot of those. I have majors, but I like the royalty companies more so.
Mm.
So I stopped buying majors. When I first started buying gold mining stocks, I was buying the majors, but then I started figuring, well, I like the royalty company model better. So I
Yeah.
weighted a lot more into the royalties rather than the majors, and then
Yeah.
I put a lot more into juniors instead. So I figure that having the royalty companies is kind of like that blue chip. You know, that those are the blue chips, so I don't need the blue chips from the majors, and I'm better off using my blue chips for the royalty companies, and then freeing up more capital for, junior type speculations. That was kind of my thought process.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, gang, I'm thinking about wrapping up the live stream here. I got to turn in early tonight because I got to get up early tomorrow morning for work.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that this is going to be an interesting week as we have states actually starting to go back to work now. I think largely due to popular pressure.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I got to point out that COMEX expiry is probably tomorrow or Tuesday, and then LBMA expiry on the 30th. So we're probably going to see some dips in the precious metals.
okay,
But this is just normal volatility, The COMEX expiry, what happens every time.
yep. But once again, we're just
Except
talking
once in a
paper
while.
price, though, Mike.
Yeah.
Just the paper
Yeah.
price.
Yeah, but once in a while they'll let it ride. You never know,
Oh, the last time I looked at silver, Kitco has Silver Eagles for $27 between 1 and 19 purchased.
Yeah.
So 27 bucks right now.
$27.
And so that's a far cry from the 1550 that the paper charts are showing.
It's almost a double.
Yep. So the disparity between paper and physical is growing.
And gold is still, a gold eagle's still practically $2,000 an ounce. So.
And I think that the price is going to continue to drop because everyone's starting to realize they will not deliver gold and silver at the paper price. Okay.
Not deliver gold. Oh yeah, at that price.
Yeah, absolutely not. You're not going to get gold delivered for $15.50, for $15.50. It ain't going to happen. So, in other words, faith and confidence in the paper system is being lost. Paper, gold, and silver system.
Well, a lot of people are saying it's broken.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, it is broken. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I know we had a lot of people dropping in and leaving here during the live stream, so I can't remember everyone, but I thank you all for coming in. Coffee, Wanderer, of course, Mike from Maine, GFI, Chaos Craig, we had American Man, we had Conjecture, we had Joe in the chat for a while. So thank you, all of you, but also thank you to all of you who tuned in to the live stream on YouTube. We appreciate all of you guys. Go ahead, Mike.
Don't forget to mash the likes.
Oh yeah, hit the like button. Yeah, I got to hit the like button too. There we go. Thank you, Mike, for reminding the MC to hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I got to like my own videos once in a while. It helps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
every like counts.
It does. Wow, look at that. It went up to 14 now, Mike. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So,
well, people just need reminding. I mean, they're just so busy absorbing information that they forget to hit the like button.
Yep, they do. Yep. So
well, they like to comment too. They might be wanting to hit the like button, but then, oh, I got a great comment, and they type the comment and forget to like. I do it myself all the time.
Oh, before I go, I want to remind everyone to check out Aaron Scott's new channel because you guys know what happened to her old channel. But this is Aaron Scott's new channel. Check it out. I know Tribulation Prepper is there. I think some other of you are there, but great channel, great gal, has a lot of interesting videos. She was actually she's bringing up some of her old videos from her old channel, which got hijacked, and putting them back up on the new channel about making literally a hydrogen fuel cell, which is really cool.
Well, she came to visit us last Sunday.
She did.
During our live
She
stream.
did.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but at any rate, so those of you who didn't know what happened to her because her old channel was hijacked, it is gone now. It's been taken down. But there's a link to her new channel that I just put into the live stream here. And if I could figure out how to alter the live stream after the fact and put data in it, I'll put it in underneath in the description section too. So great gal, great channel. A lot of do-it-yourself stuff that's really cool. She also charts once in a while. And we're very fortunate to have her a friend to Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast. So, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close her up. Thank you all again for joining us tonight. And we didn't have a whole lot of structure tonight. We kind of let the conversation flow. And there may be more structure in the future. But I should be putting out a video tomorrow night with an update of the Second Amendment Preservation Act in the state of Missouri. And I will get information directly from the horses. I will go to my representative and my senator who sponsored the bills. And YouTube shut down her live stream today at about 5 p.m. Mike had mentioned that to me. Mike from Maine told me that, but I've been out working all day. So I didn't even know about that. And I will check out. I'm sure she made a video about it. And I'll find out what happened. But if YouTube is going after her again, my advice to her is to find another platform. But it does seem that YouTube is going after a lot of truthers right now. So, and she speaks a lot of truth on her channel. So she's a natural target. And she's growing fast too. But then again, she had a lot of people on her old channel. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if she was back up to her old numbers here in just a month or two. So
Yeah, she's back up to like 900 something.
Yep, 900. When her old channel got hijacked, she had 12,000, just shy of 12,000. So, but yeah, we think about her, you know, and we feel bad for what she went through. We've enjoyed her videos. Wanderer brought her to our Discord group about 4 years ago. Said, "Hey, take a look at this gal," you know, and we did. We all subbed and everything, and we've been watching her videos ever since. We all think she's a great gal. But at any rate, I feel like that she deserves a little bit of promotion. She is a hard worker. She puts out great videos on do-it-yourself stuff for farming, even, you know, anything solar, anything electrical. I mean, she does a great job. So check out her channel and then basically sub if you like what you see. So. And Todd just joined. Hey, Todd, sorry about that, buddy. We're just kind of wrapping it up now. Because, like I said, I got to go to bed early tonight. Sorry, got to be a responsible adult and have to go to work tomorrow and all that fun stuff. So I got to get to sleep a little bit earlier. But you'll be able to watch the entire thing. It should be on YouTube. So you could, or just hit the rewind button or however that works. So thank you again for everyone joining in tonight. You guys all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. May God bless you all.
Alrighty. Have a good night, everyone.
Sorry I missed you guys. You have a good night too.
All right, you too, Todd.
I'll make next Sunday.